Welcome back. In the last lesson, we learned about several ways to say and when connecting sentences together. But we're not finished because I also need to teach you how to say and when connecting nouns together. And while you're probably familiar with the first few ways, just like before, I'll also be teaching several more advanced ways to do this. First, here are all of the topics we're going to learn about in this lesson. Okay, let's get started with the first connector. The particles qua and wa can be used to connect nouns in order to create longer sentences. These mean and. These particles can be used in any situation with any nouns and in any speech level. However, they have a polite feeling and are therefore most often used in more polite as well as formal speech. To use it, attach qua after a consonant or attach wa after a vowel. For example, 집과 and 학교와. Then follow this with another noun. For example, 집과 학교 means home and school. Let's look at a few examples.
저는 한국어를 공부해요. 영어도 공부해요.
I study Korean. I study English too.
저는 한국어와 영어를 공부해요.
I study Korean and English.
저는 빵을 먹고 싶어요. 치즈도 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat bread. I want to eat cheese too.
저는 빵과 치즈를 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat bread and cheese. Note that when using any particles or markers together with qua and wa, these will only be used after the final noun. Here are two examples.
뉴욕과 시카고에 가고 싶어요.
I want to go to New York and Chicago.
철수와 영희가 제 친구예요.
철수 and 영희 are my friends. In the first example, the particle a is only used once after the final noun. And in the second example, the subject marker ka is used only once. In addition to meaning and, the particles qua and wa can also mean with. For example, 햄버거와 피자 can translate as hamburger and pizza or hamburger with pizza. When used to mean with, it's not necessary to follow it with another noun. Here are two examples.
민수와 한국어를 공부했어요.
I studied Korean with 민수.
선생님과 이야기했어요.
I talked with the teacher. When saying with, it's common to add the adverb 같이, meaning together.
친구와 같이 영화를 봤어요.
I watched a movie together with a friend. Alternatively, you can add the adverb 함께, which also means together, which has a slightly more formal feeling.
친구와 함께 공원에 갔어요.
I went to the park together with a friend. The particle edang can also be used to connect nouns in order to create longer sentences. This can be used in the same way as qua and wa to mean either and or with. This particle has an informal feeling and should therefore not be used in extra polite or formal speech and writing. However, it's not only used in casual speech and is the most common way to say and or with. To use it, attach irang after a consonant or attach 랑 after a vowel. For example, 집이랑 or 학교랑.
이메일이랑 같이 보내세요.
Send it together with the email.
그거랑 조금 비슷해요.
It's a little similar with, meaning similar to, that.
빵이랑 쿠키를 샀어요.
I bought bread and cookies.
아빠랑 같이 콘서트에 갔어요.
I went to the concert together with my dad. The particle hagu can also be used to connect nouns in order to create longer sentences. This can be used in the same way as kwa and wa and edang to mean either and or with. Like edang, this particle also has an informal feeling but is not as informal as edang. For extra polite or formal speech and writing, use kwa and wa instead. In order, kwa and wa sound the most polite and formal, followed by hagu, and then followed by edang, which sounds the least formal of the three. To use it, attach hagu directly after a noun. For example, 집하고.
밥하고 같이 먹었어요.
I ate it together with rice.
포크하고 숟가락도 주세요.
Please give me a fork and a spoon too.
엄마하고 같이 밥 먹으러 갔어요.
I went to eat a meal together with mom.
저는 이 옷하고 저 신발을 사고 싶어요.
I want to buy these clothes and those shoes. We previously learned how to use 그리고 at the start of a sentence to connect two sentences together and that it means in addition or and. 그리고 can also be used to connect nouns, but this is usually less natural in most cases because it sounds emphasized. For example, A 그리고 B has the feeling of saying A, and in addition to that, B.
햄버거 하나, 그리고 치즈버거 하나 주세요.
Please give me one hamburger and one cheeseburger.
햄, 그리고 계란을 볶아요.
Pan fry ham and eggs. The particle meat can also be used to connect nouns and means and. However, meat is only used in formal or official writing. It is not used in speech or in informal or everyday writing. For example, A meet B has the feeling of A and B.
예습 및 복습을 잘해주세요.
Please do the review and prepare well.
오늘은 서울 및 수도권에 비가 온대요.
Today I heard it'll rain in Seoul and the surrounding area. While 또 is an adverb that's commonly used to mean again or once more, it can also be used as a sentence connector to mean and or in addition. 또 can be used in the same way as 그리고 when adding additional information to a sentence. It has a slightly more formal feeling than 그리고 and is less common.
케이크, 쿠키, 또 아이스크림을 주세요.
Please give me cake, cookies, and ice cream.
친구와 저녁을 먹었어요. 또 영화도 봤어요.
I ate dinner with a friend, and we also watched a movie. 또한 can also be used when adding additional information to a sentence like 또, but is used to add a bit more emphasis. You can think of it as meaning on top of that or in addition.
여기는 조용해요. 또한 음식이 맛있어요.
Here is quiet. On top of that, the food is delicious. 또한, but not 또, can also be used to mean also or to when something will also be just like or similar to something else. This usage is similar to the particle 도, meaning also, even, or to.
청소 또한 제가 할 일이에요.
Cleaning is also something I will do, meaning my responsibility. The particle a which means to, at, in, etc., can also be used to connect nouns and can mean and. This usage is much less common. 에 is only used to mean and when the two connected nouns are similar or related to each other. For example, 티셔츠에 바지, t-shirts and pants. When used in this way, the 에 is short for 에다 or 에다가, which we'll learn about next.
어제는 라면에 김치를 먹었어요.
Yesterday, I ate ramen and kimchi.
레깅스에 치마를 함께 입었어요.
I wore leggings and a skirt together. 에다 or 에다가 can be used with action verbs to show the location or place that something happens. It can translate as into or onto. This usage is not a sentence connector. When used in this way, 에다 or 에다가 can also be replaced with 에, but using 에다 or 에다가 makes the location or place sound clearer in the sentence.
냉장고에다가 넣었어요.
I put it in the refrigerator.
책에다가 메모를 했어요.
I wrote a note in the book. 에다 or 에다가 can also be used to connect nouns and can mean and. You can think of this as meaning on top of, or in addition to, or not only but also. For example, A에다가 B can mean on top of A, B.
늦잠에다가 엘리베이터까지 고장나서 늦었어요.
I was late because on top of waking up late, the elevator also broke.
지난주에는 시험 공부에다 일까지 해서 정말 바빴어요.
Last week, I was really busy because on top of test studying, I even worked. 에다 or 에다가 can also be combined with 대, meaning thing, work, or case, to become 되다 or 되다가. This is most often used as 되다가. To use it, conjugate a verb into an adjective in the present tense or the past tense, then add a space followed by 되다가. For example, 하다 would become 하는 되다가. Or for example, 바쁘다, to be busy would become 바쁜 되다가, meaning on top of being busy or in addition to being busy. Most often, this form is used in a sentence together with a because form, such as 서 or 으니까. We'll learn about both of these in a later lesson.
라면은 만들기 쉬운 데다가 빠르게 먹을 수 있어요.
On top of ramen being easy to make, you can eat it fast.
이 운동은 효과적인 데다가 쉬워요.
On top of being effective, this exercise is easy.
거기는 사람도 많은 데다가 멀어서 안 가요.
On top of there being a lot of people there, I don't go because it's far.
샐러리는 포만감을 주는 데다가 다이어트에 도움이 돼요.
In addition to making you feel full, celery is helpful to dieting. 게다가 comes from 거기에다가, meaning literally on top of there or in addition to there. It can be used at the start of a sentence to add more information. You can think of 게다가 as meaning and what's more, or on top of that, or in addition to that.
시장은 재미있는 게 많아요. 게다가 맛있는 음식도 먹을 수 있어요.
There are many interesting things at the market. On top of that, you can also eat delicious food.
이 가게는 신선한 재료가 많아요. 게다가 가격도 저렴해요.
This store has a lot of fresh ingredients. On top of that, the price is also inexpensive.
도서관은 시원해요. 게다가 조용해서 집중이 잘 돼요.
The library's cool. On top of that, it's quiet so I can focus well.
집 앞 카페는 커피가 맛있어요. 게다가 사장님이 친절해요.
The cafe in front of my house's coffee is delicious. On top of that, the owner is kind. Now, this lesson doesn't include every possible way to say and or in addition to, but I did include all of the essential ones that you're likely to see and hear. And that's all for this lesson. Remember to take your time, take lots of notes, and practice everything in this lesson before moving on. And I'll see you again in the next lesson. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.